In a land where fire walks the earth, a realm forged in flame and reborn from ash, and survival is written in dust, etched into the very soul of the soil by the relentless wind. Life doesn't thrive here. It fights. It endures. It holds on with a tenacity that defies the harshness of its world. When we think of savannas, our minds immediately journey to Africa. We picture the endless plains of the Serengeti, the iconic acacia trees, the great migrations. It is a landscape that has, for generations, defined our understanding of this unique biome, stealing the spotlight with its sheer scale and drama. But half a world away, across vast tracts of India, through the forgotten plains of Southeast Asia, and beyond, lies a lesser-known world, a parallel kingdom of grass and sun, governed by its own ancient rules and rhythms. This is a harsh, brutally seasonal wilderness, the Asian savanna. A mosaic of grassland, scrub and open forest, shaped not just by climate, but by a deep, intricate history with humanity. Here the world operates on a knife's edge, dictated by one of the planet's most powerful weather phenomena. The monsoon rains arrive not as a gentle relief, but as a deluge, a force that floods the land and awakens it from a long slumber. But this life-giving water is a fleeting gift, destined to vanish into months of brutal, unforgiving drought. The sun reclaims its dominion, baking the earth until it splinters into a jigsaw of hardened clay. In this land of feast or famine, food is never guaranteed. The lush greenery of the wet season withers into brittle, unpalatable straw, forcing herbivores to wander endlessly for a meagre meal. And water, the very currency of life, is never permanent. What was once a sprawling wetland becomes a muddy puddle, a contested and precious resource that will soon disappear entirely. To exist here is to live in a state of constant vigilance, and every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, must adapt or disappear. This is not just a place, but a crucible, forging some of the most resilient and resourceful beings on Earth. As daylight fades, the savanna transforms. The oppressive heat gives way to a deceptive coolness, and the long shadows conceal both predator and prey. For many, the night is not a time for rest, but the start of a new struggle. In this hidden world, we will uncover the extraordinary strategies and epic dramas that unfold daily. We will witness the power of ancient knowledge, the precision of a perfect hunter, and the raw, desperate will to survive against all odds. This is the story of Asia's other great wilderness, a land of breathtaking resilience, waiting to be told. The Asian savanna is a world defined by contrast, a landscape of brutal extremes. For months it is a study in monochrome, a palette of brown and beige under a relentless burning sun. Scorching heat radiates from the cracked earth where temperatures can soar above 45 degrees Celsius. The air is thick with dust, and the grasslands stretch endlessly, shimmering in the heat haze. Life retreats, conserves, and waits. Then, suddenly, a shift in the wind, a darkening of the sky. Life returns. The first drops of rain hit the baked ground like a drumbeat, releasing the rich, earthy scent of petrichor. The monsoon awakens the land from its torpor. Within days, the parched plains explode into a vibrant, almost violent green. Grass, which seemed dead, resurrects itself, shooting upwards with astonishing speed. Dormant seeds sprout, and a billion insects swarm from the soil, their buzzing filling the air. But this explosion of abundance is a mirage, a temporary reprieve in a permanent war. Because in the savanna every season is a test, and the rules are always changing. Footsteps, a deep, resonant rumble that seems to vibrate through the ground itself. The largest land mammal in Asia roams these plains, the Asian elephant. Massive, intelligent, deeply social. These giants are the architects of this landscape, their movements shaping the very structure of the savanna. But even giants struggle here. During the long, punishing months of drought, elephants must embark on epic journeys, sometimes travelling over 100 kilometres in a relentless search for water. Their survival hinges not on strength alone, but on knowledge. Their memory becomes their greatest weapon. They follow ancient routes, invisible pathways etched into the collective consciousness of the herd, leading to hidden waterholes and secret springs. Knowledge passed down through generations from matriarch to daughter. This ancestral map is their lifeline. Without this knowledge, this library of survival carried in the mind of their leader, they would perish. Each step is an act of faith, a trust in the wisdom of those who walked before them. Grass rustling, a sound that carries on the wind, masking a far more subtle rhythm, a heartbeat. Where prey gathers at a precious water source, a silent killer waits. The apex predator of the Asian savanna, the tiger. This is not the lion of the open plains. Unlike the cooperative, visible hunts of its African cousin, this hunter relies on utter invisibility. It is a ghost, a phantom that melts into the tall, dense grasses, its striped coat the perfect camouflage. Every movement is deliberate, every step calculated, placed with surgical precision to avoid a single snapped twig. Closer, closer. The predator becomes one with the shadows, a coiled spring of muscle and intent. Then an explosion, a terrifying burst of speed that covers 50 meters in the blink of an eye. A single chance, born from hours of patient stalking. There are no second attempts. Because failure here, in this unforgiving world, means more than a missed meal. It means weakness. It means starvation. For the animals that live in the tiger's shadow, survival is a constant nerve-shredding gamble. Herds of chital, or spotted deer, along with nilgai, Asia's largest antelope, and formidable wild cattle like the gar, must remain on high alert every second of every day. Their existence is a balance between the need to eat and the need to not be eaten. Their senses are finely tuned instruments of survival. Large, swivelling ears act like radar dishes, scanning for the faintest sound of a predator's approach. Wide, perceptive eyes are positioned to detect the slightest flicker of movement in the grass, and when danger finally strikes, they run. Speed is survival. An explosive, panicked flight is their only defense. In that critical moment, there is no room for thought, only instinct. Hesitation is death. The herd scatters, a chaotic storm of hooves and dust, each individual running for its life, hoping it is not the one the tiger has chosen. Crackling flames. The sound builds to a roar as the wind rises. Fire. It sweeps across the savanna not as a random event, but as a living force, a seasonal monster that consumes everything in its path. To a casual observer, it is an apocalypse. It is pure destruction, turning acres of grassland into a blackened, smoking wasteland. Yet this devastation brings with it the promise of renewal. The fire is a cleanser. It clears away the dense, dead thatch of old grass, allowing sunlight to once again reach the soil. The burned al-ard, the scorched earth, gives way to a flush of fresh, tender growth, far more nutritious than what came before. Nutrients long locked away in dead plant matter are released in a wave, returning to the soil to fuel the next generation of life. And so, life begins again, rising phoenix-like from the ashes. In the paradoxical world of the Asian savanna, destruction is an essential part of survival. Thunder, a low rumble that grows into a deafening roar. Rain pouring from the heavens. Then comes the monsoon. After months of dust and heat, the skies finally open. The land, cracked and thirsty, drinks deeply, soaking up the life-giving water. Dry, sandy riverbeds are transformed into rushing torrents. The grasslands, once brown and brittle, undergo a miraculous transformation, becoming a lush emerald sea. For a brief, glorious moment, the savanna becomes a paradise. Food is abundant. Water is everywhere. It is a time of birth, of growth, of plenty, a time for celebration. But this window of opportunity is perilously short. The clock is always ticking. The sun will return, the rains will cease, and the land will begin its slow, inevitable slide back into drought. And the cycle, the great, unforgiving cycle of boom and bust, always continues. Today, this ancient ecosystem, which has endured millennia of fire and drought, faces a new and insidious threat. One it may not be able to adapt to. Human expansion. The boundaries of the wild are shrinking. Roads cut through ancient migration routes. Fences create barriers where none existed. The savanna is becoming fragmented, an archipelago of isolated pockets in a sea of human development. This is compounded by the growing pressures of climate change. Monsoons are becoming more erratic, droughts more prolonged and severe. The delicate balance, honed over eons, is shifting faster than ever before. The ancient rules are being rewritten, and for the creatures that call this land home, survival is becoming harder than ever. Their resilience is being tested to its absolute limit. The Asian savanna is, above all, a world of staggering resilience. It is a testament to the power of life to find a way, to adapt, to evolve, and to endure against what often seem like impossible odds. It is a story written in the cracked earth, carried on the hot wind, and reflected in the watchful eyes of every creature that lives here. A powerful, humbling reminder that survival is the greatest story ever told. It is a narrative of struggle, of ingenuity, and of the unbreakable spirit that persists in the harshest of places. If you enjoyed this journey into one of the planet's most overlooked wildernesses, subscribe to Nature's Chronicles. Join us as we uncover more untold stories of survival from the hidden corners of our world. Because out here, in the great theatre of the wild, nature never stops fighting.